The summer of 1881 baked Cactus Ridge, Texas, until the dirt cracked and the air seemed too tired to move. In the town's auction yard, a splintered platform sat blistering under a sun that judged everyone equally. This morning, it wasn't livestock behind the rail gate, but women sent west in wagons, unclaimed, unwanted. Among them stood Mercy Harlan, 35, built like she carried the weight of every letdown, thick through the hips and shoulders, arms corded from labor, her faded brown dress pinched at the bust and sagged at the hem. Her boots didn't match. One was laced with curtain cord. She kept her eyes down, not from shame, but habit. Sheriff Ryland, a man with more debts than friends, wiped sweat from his collar. These women had arrived through penal reassignment, the federal solution to overcrowded jails and underpopulated towns. The paper called it rehabilitation. The crowd came to gawp and sneer. Next up called the auctioneer, a wiry man with yellow teeth and a voice like gravel. He slapped the rail. Sturdy one, knows her way round a stove. Ain't much to look at, but she'll feed you and probably survive the winter. Laughter rippled. A rancher joked she'd break a wagon axle. Mercy didn't twitch. Who'll give me $1? 50 cents. Silence. 60 came a calm, deep voice from the edge of the crowd. Heads turned to Jesse Micra, cattleman, widower, and a man who carried something quieter than sorrow. He hadn't planned to buy, but the woman who didn't flinch caught him. Sold. The auctioneer said quickly. Jesse dropped a coin into his hand, cut the rope at Mercy's wrists, and asked, "Need to gather anything?" "No, sir, this way." They walked to his wagon under the murmurs of the crowd. She heard every word, but kept her back straight. Jesse helped her up, not from chivalry, but because no one had in a long time. They rode in silence until Mercy said softly, "You didn't ask my name. Didn't figure it mattered till you felt like giving it. Mercy, that your name or the one you're asking for, it's what I've got, what I kept. All right then, Mercy." Jess's land sat 5 miles out, tucked between cottonwoods and a dry creek bed. The house was plain, wide-porched, with sheds and a low barn. No animals, no voices, just wind and quiet. Inside, the one-room space smelled of pine, leather, and loneliness. A tin plate by the sink, a coat over a chair, a picture frame face down on the mantel. Jesse showed her a small room with a bed, quilt, and dresser, bolts inside. "I won't come knocking unless the barn's on fire." She looked at the patched quilt and bowl of water by the window. "You need anything?" She shook her head. "I didn't buy you, Mercy. Just bought back a bit of your dignity." That night she lay fully dressed, dreaming of her father's porch in Missouri before the blight. She woke before the rooster, washed, braided her hair, and found Jesse pouring coffee. "I've been up longer than most roosters," she said evenly. She cooked biscuits and bacon. The kitchen smelled like morning. "Damn," Jesse said. "A man could forget the world with food like this. Good, the world never did me much favor." After breakfast, Jesse left for the North Field. Mercy cleaned, not for him, but because work kept her from thinking. By midday, the house shone, the windows were open, and light poured in. Jessie returned, surprised. Didn't expect a shine on the place. Didn't do it for looks. No, but it looks good. He drank the water she offered. Going to town tomorrow. Need fence wire and tobacco. You want me to get anything? I'd like to go. You sure? I ain't ashamed to be seen. He nodded. Sun rises early. We'll leave at first light. That evening, they sat on the porch, crickets singing, dry grass scent in the air. Mercy finally asked, "You ever think about what folks say?" "Sometimes," Jessie replied. "But then I remember they ain't the ones feeding my stock or fixing my roof. Town folk already talking. You'll be the man who married the fat woman from the auction. I'd rather be that than the man who let her rot there." She looked at him, really looked. "You ever miss her? Your wife? Every damn day. But that don't mean there ain't room left in me." That night, Mercy pulled the quilt tight and slept deeper than she had in months. At dawn, she stood at the kitchen window, watching fog burn off the pasture. Jessie, sleeves rolled, pumped water at the well. She brewed coffee strong enough to take paint off a barn. "You always this early?" he asked. "Easiest when the world's still quiet." They ate quick bread, jerky, and packed for town. Mercy wore a faded blue calico dress she'd bound at the bottom of a trunk, tight at the chest, loose at the sleeves. Jessie glanced at her. Nervous. "No, but I reckon they'll talk. They talked before." "Let him." In Cactus Ridge, small eyes followed them. At the general store, the same shopkeeper from the auction eyed her. "You come to spend his money. I came to buy what's needed. Hope he's got a good appetite." "He does, and he don't mind sharing." She collected flour, salt, coffee, and peaches, counting coins steady. Outside, Jessie leaned against a post. "All set," she nodded, and they rode home under a blushing sky. For the first time, the silence between them felt like ease. The next morning, Mercy rose earlier still, baking quick golden biscuits. Jessie emerged, hair damp from the basin, and ate four before saying, "You trying to fatten me up?" "I don't fatten folks, I feed them." He smiled, just a twitch, like his face was learning how. They worked opposite ends of the yard. Jessie sawing boards for the corral, Mercy tackling the garden. By noon, she'd cleared 2 rows and uncovered the stubs of carrots. "You really mean to stay?" he asked. "Unless you're asking me not to." "I ain't." That evening, they shared Ben and Bacon's stew. On the porch, Jessie smoked while Mercy mended the blue dress. The wind picked up. Coyotes yipped. A loose barn board clattered. "You fix that soon." "Tomorrow." "I used to mend shirts in the dark," she said. "I used to fall asleep, too." Baby fussing thought it was the worst sound till it was gone. Boy or girl? Girl didn't make it past the first frost. Wife followed in spring fever. Buried them both under the cottonwood. Mercy didn't say she was sorry. 4 of mine, all under 6. 1 stillborn, 3 to fevers. Stopped praying after the second. The wind turned cold. You scared of thunder? No. Good. Likely get a storm Friday. Let it come. Came Wednesday instead. Black clouds curling like fists. Jessie was in the barn when the wind rose. Mercy was already shuttering windows. Rain hit like gravel, lightning bleaching the yard for a heartbeat. They moved in tandem, silent, quick, inside. Jessie carved by the hearth, while Mercy mended a flour sack. You always carve when it storms, better than pacing. Not sure what it'll be yet. Horse, dog. Maybe just something to keep my hands busy. Seems your hands know what they're doing. Sometimes they remember what I forget. A shutter banged loose. I'll fix it, Jessie said, pulling on his coat. Mercy held the lantern as he vanished into the storm, returning, soaked but grinning. You're either brave or foolish, little of both. They sat on the floor with mugs of coffee warming their hands. Storms make it hard to sleep, she said. What helps? I used to hum lullabies for restless babies. You could hum one now. She hesitated. Then, B, gain, low, steady, carved from old sorrow. Jessie closed his eyes, letting the sound curl into the storm. When she stopped, the silence lingered. You should carve that tune, she said. Can't carve a song. You just did with quiet, he chuckled. Maybe you're right. You always this gentle. No, lost that part a while back. Maybe you're bringing it out again. I'm not delicate. I don't need delicate. I need honest. Lightning flashed, gilding them both. He looked at his carving, thinking maybe I'll carve a name into this. Yours, just if you'll let me. Why, so it don't get lost. So I remember who was here when the roof held and the wind didn't win. Her throat tightened. She nodded. With a slow, careful stroke, he began to carve Mercy. The storm raged outside, but inside something steadier took root. By morning, the world looked newly scrubbed, dirt darker, leaves heavy, barn roof creaking like it remembered how to be whole. Jessie woke stiff from sleeping upright and found Mercy at the stove, humming the same tune from the night before. He poured coffee, letting the heat soak into his hands. We lost the henhouse door, she said. One hen made a run for it, caught her halfway to the creek. She's got more sense than most, he huffed, over breakfast. Something between them shifted, not love yet, but strong enough to lean on. Later, Jessie rode to the east pasture while Mercy stayed, mending and sweeping just to keep her hands moving. A shout broke the stillness. She stepped onto the porch as Jessie rode in with another man, lean, sharp-eyed, pistol at his hip. Where is she? The stranger barked. That her, the one you bought. Turn round, Tom, Jessie said. Tom dismounted, swaggering closer. Heard you picked up some stock at auction. Thought you might need help breaking her in. You're not welcome. Here, Jessie warned. Tom laughed, sneering. Got you under her spell. Don't tell me the old cow's got her hooks in you. Jessie's punch landed hard, sending Tom stumbling. He drew his pistol, but Jessie's was already leveled. Draw, and you die. Tom spat blood, mounted, and rode off. Jesse holstered his gun. "You all right? You didn't need to do that," she said. "Yeah, I did. You think I'm fragile? No, I think you're firewood hard, scarred, and you burn hot when you need to. But even firewood shouldn't be kicked. I ain't had someone fight for me in a long time. Maybe you should get used to it. You sure about this? I see you, Mercy, and I'm staying." For the first time, she touched his hand. Just a brush, but enough. That evening, Jesse found her in the garden, sleeves rolled, humming a different lullaby. He handed her a small knife found behind the shed, still sharp. "Thank you." They worked in tandem until Jesse said he won't be back. "Someone like him might. I'll be here every damn time." "So will I." That night, he gave her the carved pine, a crude horse, her name on its side. "I made it for the part of me that needed to remember what strength looked like. You're not the only one who needed reminding." Days passed in a full, quiet rhythm. Mercy tended the garden, organized the kitchen, stitched linens. Jesse mended fences, hauled water, and found his eyes drifting toward the porch more often. One morning, she left him a list: flour, sugar, lamp oil, thread, and at the bottom, peaches. "If they've got any dot in town." Whispers followed him. The storekeeper eyed his purchases. "Shopping for two now. I'm shopping for my house." Back at the ranch, Mercy unpacked supplies. When she saw the jar of peaches, she simply set it on the shelf, wiping her eyes when he wasn't looking. That night, she baked a pie. They ate on the porch, 2 forks and 1 dish. "You ever think about marrying again?" she asked. "I think about staying warm through winter, eating more than beans. And I think about you more than I should. I ain't young. I come with ghosts. So do I. If I asked, would you say yes? You'd be the first man who asked, not demanded, that a yes." She met his eyes. "That's a yes, if you mean it." "I do." He pulled a leather cord, threaded with a ring he'd whittled from a fence post. It wasn't pretty, but it was hers. The next morning, they rode to the preacher's house. She wore her cleaned calico dress, hair braided tight. Jesse had shaved. "I reckon I do," she said. "Ain't no one else I'd rather ride the years with," he added. The preacher handed them a paper. "You're done." Back home, she cooked a roast. He built a new shelf. That night, under the quilt, she reached for his hand, and he held on. Word spread fast in Cactus Ridge. The widowed cowboy had married the fat woman from the auction. Some called it pity, some madness, a few a curse. Mercy didn't care. Her work now carried a quiet steadiness, her eyes warmer than before. Jesse noticed, lingered longer at meals, and smiled more, even if just with his eyes. One morning, she found a bolt of blue fabric on the table. "What's this?" "Something for a Sunday dress. Preacher's coming Saturday. Thought we'd eat proper." "Thank you," she said softly. That Saturday, the preacher arrived as Mercy pulled bread from the oven. On the porch, he asked Jesse, "You sure about this? Folks talk. They always do. She ain't the woman your wife was." "No," Jesse said. "She's the woman my wife never got to become. Inside, Mercy heard it all. Later, Jessie said, "You heard. I did. I meant it. I know." She turned, wiping her hands on her apron. "You sure you want to carry me through this town forever? Be the man they whisper about. I already am. Might as well be one worth whispering about." She shook her head, smiling softly. "You're something, Jessie Micra. So are you, Mercy Mick." That night she mended a shirt by the fire while he carved another figurine. A woman standing tall, arms crossed, face to the wind. He didn't say it was her, but she knew. In town, people grew used to the stares. Mercy kept her chin high. Jessie walked beside her, never behind. Evenings were quiet, knees brushing, no music or candles, just warmth. A month after the wedding, a peddler passed through. Mercy bought 3 buttons, a palm-sized mirror, and a half-missing book. Jessie bought her a comb. She used it next morning, braiding with care she hadn't taken in years. "You look like you belong here," he said. "Maybe I finally do." Near dusk, Jessie spotted smoke from behind the southern rise. He ran, Mercy following with buckets. The old south barn, rarely used but full of hay and tools, was in flame. She tied a wet cloth over her mouth, shoving a bucket into his hands. "It's too far gone," he shouted. "Not the horses," she answered, plunging into the smoke. Inside, chaos. She freed a thrashing gelding, then went back for the saddle. Jessie cursed, dove in after her. They hauled it out just before the west wall collapsed. Later, sitting in the dust, she drank from his canteen. "You never stop, do you? I'm too damn stubborn. That's what'll save us." Next morning, Jessie found fresh boot prints and a tobacco pouch he knew Tom. Mercy read the trouble in his face. They kept a lantern lit that night, rifle and shotgun, ready. 2 nights later, the dog barked. Moonlight painted the yard silver. Tom stood near the ruins. "I came for what's mine," he shouted. "You never had a damn thing here," Mercy said. Shotgun steady. Tom raised his pistol. Jessie stepped between them. "Then you missed your shot." Mercy's voice cut through. "You drew on me once already, Tom. You don't get another chance." Tom dropped his gun and backed away. Jessie turned to her. "You were ready." "I've been ready a long time." He pulled her into his arms, and she let him. Morning broke golden over Cactus Ridge. The barn was gone, but something unseen had been built in its place. Mercy's hands ached from splinters, but she moved without hesitation. Bread to bake, laundry to boil, and a man worth feeding. "Looks like it'll be a good day," he said. "We deserve one." Over breakfast, she asked, "You reckon we'll rebuild? Not the same. Something better, stronger." "I'll help." "I'd be insulted if you didn't." The preacher visited, offering community help. Jessie declined. "We got what we need." The preacher glanced at Mercy in the doorway. "She's still not accepted by everyone." "Good thing she ain't for everyone," Jessie said. That night, Mercy filled in the missing pages of her old book. Her own words, her own hand, rewriting the world. Jessie asked, "Just making it fit better?" I like your version. More weeks passed. Nights grew colder. Jessie added insulation. Mercy quilted by lantern light. Whispers in town faded. One Saturday, Jessie hitched the wagon. Come with me, he said. I don't want to be a spectacle. You ain't ride with me. She did. Some still stared, but she wore a green shawl Jessie had traded for, said it matched her eyes. At the store, they moved together like music as they left. A girl tugged her mother's skirt. Mama, is that the lady from the fire? Yes, sweetie. That's Mrs. Mercy tasted the name, strange but sweet. On the wagon, Jessie handed her the reins. I've never driven. Then it's about time. She took them back straight, hands sure. The road home glowed under early frost. The scars of fire still marked the land, but softer now memory, not warning. I think I was always meant to end up here, she said. You were, he replied, laying his hand over hers. They drove on in silence, not the kind that echoes, but the kind that settles. Black, a blanket. The season had turned, and they were still standing.